welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy, and it is the beloved return of Loam Pox from Patreon subscriber Chris. This is a BoshNRoll channel favorite. As far as off-meta decks that usually aren't good enough, this is entirely my jam and one of my favorites. The point of this deck is the card Smallpox. Black, sorcery. Each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacrifices a creature, and sacrifices a land. And then the card Life from the Loam. Return up to 3 target lands from your graveyard to your hand. Life from the Loam mitigates the discard and land sacrificing of Smallpox. The fact that our deck is nearly creatureless mitigates the creature part. And life is whatever, that's just flavor text on the card anyway. The goal is to break the parity of Smallpox so your opponent cares a lot about losing a creature, land, and card in your hand, and you don't. This deck plays a huge land count, 26 lands, plus 4 Mox Diamonds. Fully half of the deck is mana. That's to get your Life from the Loam going. Mox Diamond can get it going as soon as turn 1. You can Smallpox on turn 1. Sylvan Library, Witherbloom Command. Lots of cool stuff you could do on turn 1 with a Mox at your disposal. Some additional disruption in the deck because we don't have forces, so we got to rely on discard and beating the board. Thoughtseize, reach in there, take their best card. Raven's Crime, target player discards a card with Retrace, and Retrace means you can discard a land in addition to its other cost to cast it from your graveyard. Life from the Loam means that you should have plenty of lands to retrace Raven's Crime, and you can really squeeze opponents out in the mid and late game. Beating the stuff they play to the board, Smallpox is an Edict, Sheoldred's Edict is another Edict. Speaking of Sheoldred's Edict, the list that Chris originally sent me had Sudden Edict in this spot, and also had Extirpate instead of Surgical Extraction in the graveyard. And I have found in my Legacy play that the 1 extra mana is not worth uncounterability, and the flexibility of Sheoldred's Edict, being able to remove a Planeswalker, is worth so much more than uncounterability on an Edict. Those are some small changes I made. As I always do, I tune up lists that people send me. I want to put the best foot forward without losing their original vision. Assassin's Trophy might seem weird to play a removal spell that can ramp the opponent in our deck that also has a mana denial theme, but unconditionally removing any permanent, a land, a planeswalker, a creature, whatever you got, it's gone, is usually worth that squeeze. Liliana of the Veil, an Edict and a discard outlet, gets to do it all. And a light blue splash. This is directly from Chris. Uro, Titan of Nature's Wrath, a very exciting card to mill over with Loam, and an easy way to win the game. Nimble Obstructionist, the fun of. 3/1 Flash Flying Bird Wizard. Cycle for 2 and a blue. When you cycle this, counter target activated or triggered ability. This is game against the Thassa's Oracle decks. It could randomly be a clunky Stifle if you have otherwise controlled your opponent's mana. And one of the last changes we made that we talked about a little bit was 1 Takenuma in the deck. There's not that many creatures or planeswalkers, but you could set up an endgame where you just need a Liliana back, or you just need to make sure you don't get comboed out somehow, and Takenuma can pick up Nimble Obstructionist or Liliana. You can even do it all at once. Like, if you're playing against combo and they Thoughtseize or Duress you, they can't take Takenuma. And then in response to their win, you could cycle or channel Takenuma, pick up Obstructionist, cycle Obstructionist, and there's basically nothing they can do about that. Exciting stuff. And a relatively new card. I don't think I've played Loam Pox since Duskmourn came out, and this was in the Duskmourn Commander set. Formless Genesis. 2 and a green for a Kindred Sorcery Shapeshifter. It has Changeling, which means the spell has every creature type. If we were playing things like Goblin Matron, we could find this. Create an XX colorless Shapeshifter creature with Changeling and Death Touch, where X is the number of lands in your graveyard. And this has Retrace. This type of thing is not new. Worm Harvest has historically been played in Loam decks. It's been power crept out. Worm Harvest just doesn't do what it used to, but Formless Genesis costs 3 instead of 5. It makes one big thing instead of many small things. A lot easier to get going. And the Death Touch on it means that even a 1/1 or 2/2 could buy you a lot of time against a board full of Barrogoyfs or whatever. I'm excited to try this card. There it is. Classic Golgari Loam Pox with a blue twist and a relatively new card to try out. Let's get it. Announcing the Buffalo Chicken Dip Legacy Winamax weekend in Columbus, Ohio. Saturday, August 2nd, the BCDL Legacy Open 4, a Mox Jet for first and dual lands for top 8 guaranteed, with more duels and staples added down to 24th place if the event gets 100 players. Sunday, August 3rd, Stronghold Mox Diamond for first, dual lands for top 4, and Force of Wills for top 8 guaranteed, with prizes scaling up at 48 and 55 players. Both events are unlimited proxy playtest card friendly, anyone can play. Please review the playtest card policy on the event pages. Signups and additional details are linked in the video description or included in a full post in my YouTube community tab. I'll be there. I hope to see you too. I'm on the play in round 1 versus Velgrim, who I believe is a Bryant Cook disciple. Raven's Crime is not good enough if I'm fairly confident I'm playing against combo. Okay. Smallpox, this isn't great either, but it's at least something that does something. I can't even cast Smallpox with this hand, though. Yikes. I might have to go to 5. Moments like this are always interesting because on the one hand, I would prefer to show you the pure experience of playing the deck where I would have kept that first hand without looking back. Like, yeah, let's do it. We've got some engines and whatever. But knowing my opponent, or thinking that I know my opponent, I'm making decisions with that information, which you should also do. Oh, God. Well, I've now looked at 21 cards without a Thoughtseize. Opponent stopped on 6. I'm not going any lower than this. I'm going to bottom, I guess, Beseju and Trophy. And this is what we got. Verdant Catacombs pass. I hope I don't just get my face stormed off here. Rockran Triome. Okay. We're somehow in the complete opposite universe. And I am now realizing we've somehow also forgotten to include Undercity Mortuary, the Golgari Surveil land in the deck. That should very clearly be in here. Whoops. Okay, I'm going to get Bayou. I love a Wasteland. I thought Thoughtseize will take it. All right. You're not going to daze this shit with your tap land. Okay, the complete opposite. Maybe I confused who I thought this was, or maybe I don't know what I'm talking about at all. Either way, it's fine. I'm going to take Teferi here because that also turns off Force of Will, at least temporarily. Teferi's really good against Urza Saga. Just get to bounce that thing. Then I'm back a land, the old Stone Rain draw card. Windswept Heath. Ooh, Sylvan Library, Liliana, make constructs. I have several options here. I actually think I want Sylvan Library in play. The problem with Liliana right now is I just don't have resources to discard to her. Force pitching Lorien revealed. Okay, so they drew a blue card in their 1 draw step. That's fine. So their hand is Solitude and lands right now. The Sylvan Library is worth several cards one way or another. They draw for turn, it's Underground Sea. I think I should make a construct here and tutor Lava Spur Boots. Nile Spellbomb Retrofitter Boots. Yeah, I'll get the Boots. Start putting pressure on this opponent. If they have to pitch a white card here, that's fine. Or they could just take some beats, and then Liliana could show up and cause problems next turn. There's the Swamp. Solitude, 2 unknowns in the hand. Catacombs. Attack. Now I can play Liliana plus discard Verdant Catacombs, or play out Verdant Catacombs, go Hellbent. I don't think I need the extra mana. I'm going Lily plus discard Verdant Catacombs. I have to imagine this deck contains... Ooh, another Force Pitch Lorien revealed. I have to imagine this deck contains Leyline Binding, or else why does the mana look like this? Well, they have Solitude and 1 random card they just drew. If it's a land, my ward will keep Construct Token alive. If it's not a land, then they have a Solitude they can't use in their hand. Life from the Loam breaks this open. Uro even breaks this open. They are also taking damage in 3-point chunks at 12 life. Oh, Scion of Draco, that's what we're doing. Okay, cool. An artifact, any artifact at all, makes my construct bigger. Oh, sweet. All right, well, I'll just cook this Draco, and we'll find out together if opponent has any basics left in their deck. There's 2 in play already. How many basics can Domain Zoo afford to play? There's an island. This now represents Solitude. I think it's right for me to hold this Assassin's Trophy. Even if I was sure my opponent didn't have any basic lands left in their deck and I could take out the Rockman Triome, I still think taking out a creature is more important long term. Nurturing Peatland, not bad. I would like to draw a card immediately. That is an artifact, but it's not one that helps. They could play Solitude now to block. They can't play Solitude to exile because of Ward. Yeah, they're going to flash this in. The Ward trigger will counter the exile, and then I'll trophy the body because we actually are applying real meaningful pressure here. Okay, they just targeted nothing instead. Makes sense. Don't want the embarrassment of getting their thing countered. Just want me to know they didn't forget. All right, do you have 4 basics in your 5-color deck? You do. Fascinating. Okay. Thrilling. Bonus of 5, but I'm basically out of stuff to do at this point. No, that's so good. That draws a card and clears my construct. Easily pay the ward. I have ramped them twice. Not that I regret it. I think it's fine, but it did happen. Okay, I'm going to fetch... I don't think I need Tropical Island. I'll get Underground Sea, and I need some action here. Raven's Crime. All right. I will mess up half of your hand. I don't have the land to retrace this, unfortunately. Leyline of the Guild Pack explains all the basics they're playing. Plus they're Teferi. Oh, there's that boy. All right, we needed him. Trigger. Oh, we have Solitude. Disappointing. All right. That's the perfect thing to have here. Misty Rainforest. I am not going to deploy that because that could make my turn on my Mox Diamond, or I could just take the last card out of their hand. All right, I'm going to crime them, actually. That's how I'm playing this. Zur, Eternal Schemer. Well, glad we got that one. Flying. Enchantment creatures you control have Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof. Target non or enchantment becomes a creature in addition to its other types with base power and base toughness, each equal to its mana value. So, Leyline of the Guild Pact is something they can stand up with that. Also, of course, the Leyline bindings that I already called out. They have Brainstorm in their deck. And just Resolve DeLorean revealed. Perfect. Well, if one card could save me, it might be this one. Make a Servo. Equip it with Lava Spur Boots. I can at least pressure Teferi. I'm not winning a race versus Solitude, and I don't want Teferi bouncing anything, so at least one attack on Teferi here. And then we'll see what these 4 cards do. Up the Beanstalk. Wow. This deck has every card in it. Every card imaginable. Scion triggers up the Beanstalk. Solitude has Vidge now. Leyline Binding. All right. We're done. We're done. All right. I foolishly mulliganed thinking my opponent was up to something they're not. Do I regret that decision? No, with the information I had, but it did not pan out. Haywire Might hits Leyline and Leyline Binding. Consign to Memory can counter Scion and Solitude triggers, if I think those are important. Pernicious Deed with enough mana could cook various Leylines and stuff. It would take 6 mana to kill Leyline Binding. And I'm never killing Draco with this. Yeah, it might just be Haywire Might over, like, even Nimble Obstructionist getting a Solitude trigger could change that game. Nile Spellbomb doesn't seem important. Haywire Might for Nile Spellbomb, and otherwise I'm in. We should be actually in good shape versus decks that are trying to win with creatures. That's kind of what Loam Pox is built to do. But you do have to, keep hands, not thinking your opponent is Storm. All right, I'm going to keep. I just need a land, but as we've said, the deck is half mana sources. Haywire Might, get in there, fella. They didn't lead on Leyline, unfortunately. Would have been nice to pick that off. Heath. All right, any land. We did it. Haywire Might, get in. Underground Sea from the opponent. I am Saga Flooded. And I'm not mad about it. Getting in there. No respect for Orcish Bowmaster. Or Snapcaster Mage. Brainstorm. Also no respect for Orcish Bowmaster. A card I'm not playing, but I have played in Loam Pox before, and it's good. Bowmaster just gives you that normal magic feel. You can punish draw cards while also bringing its own friend, so it doesn't even die to Smallpox. Okay, this is not quite Domain. They're missing a forest. Verdant Catacombs. Wow, that art is crazy. Never seen that before. That's the Sultai one from Tarkir Dragonstorm. The bonus sheet. Very sweet. Okay, time to start making constructs. at least one construct. I can tutor Mox Diamond and play Liliana this turn, but we've seen a bunch of removal in their deck. Or counterspells and removal both. Okay, so they're going to bind my Haywire Might right now while I can't do anything about it. That's fine. Deal. Oh, I drew Mox Diamond anyway. Well, that makes my search more interesting. Okay. I could get Retrofitter Foundry now and start grinding that way. If I make a construct, that's 2, tutor, Lava Spur Boots, that's 3, Mox Diamond, that's 4, equip in for 5, but then my engines might start collapsing. I think this is fine. No, I am going to go for the boots. Lava Spur Boots, Mox Diamond, discard Saga, Boots over here, and if I attack with both and they have Solitude, this gets exiled, this becomes 4/3, which is still enough to kill Scion. All right, yeah, that's fine. And they can't exile the one with the boost because it has ward. Cool. All right. That didn't feel bad. If they have some sweeper, it's over. Like if they melt down or Wrath of the Skies, Pernicious Deed, anything of the sort, it's bad. But I am Saga gaming pretty effectively here. Smallpox. I am just going to keep going with the constructs here. I'll get the Retrofitter Foundry. I don't have a mana, unfortunately, to really threaten them. All right, they're at 7. Didn't cast a spell that whole turn cycle. That could be carefully managing life total and resources to get to a big Solitude turn. Could be nothing at all. I don't know. Teferi can clear one of my constructs, or it can clear Mox Diamond, which they know I didn't have a land last turn. I think it's definitely right to dig out the construct, though. All right, mana source off the top, tilt. Yeah, if I had drawn any land, I could make a servo. That's +2 power on the board, equip, and that's 5, 6, 7. That's exactly lethal. All right, I'm not going to mess around with Teferi. I'm just going to go face. Attack my opponent. And I'm going to make a servo to push damage. They're at 2. Smallpox is almost lethal. Marsh Flats, if they fetch Smallpox, is lethal. Solitude is a massive beating if I get caught in combat, because I can't respond. Oh, Zur, that's so much worse. Well, now I'm getting hit for 6. Lifelink. Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink. I'm not going to block with my servo. Okay. Oh, is this forever? Target non-orange enemy you control becomes a creature. Wow, just becomes? This isn't even till end of turn? How can anyone win? This is outrageous. Okay. Well, this just got harder. I did draw a land, though. The fact that they haven't interacted with anything yet on the board this entire game makes me think their hand is counterspells. Okay, if I make another servo, this is 6 power. Put the boots on that servo. I'm attacking for 9. There's no forced block, unfortunately. Death Touch, Hexproof, Lifelink. Okay. I can make a 3/3 Death Touch creature with Formless Genesis and start to shields up. If I thought my spell was going to resolve, I would just kill Zur here. But I don't think that's the case. I have a lot of ways to kill Zur, though. I'm going to put my boots on my construct. I don't think they're going to have days, but they do have Leyline Binding. It's literally face up. Okay. I'm going to try to trophy Zur. They're probably going to force. Yep. Force pitching Teferi. Draws a card. And attacking them to 1 doesn't matter. But trading with the Leyline Binding in combat might. It just becomes crazy. I've read this Zur several times, and at no point did my brain determine that that was forever. This is even like a Pro Tour winning standard card. I guess people just concede once it happens, so there's never been a second turn. All right, they took my Assassin's Trophies. They know that my hand has a bunch of removal in it, but I've been gated on mana for the entire game. Lorien Revealed draws 1 trillion cards. Pitch Cast Solitude. This can clear the construct through the ward. I do gain a bunch of life, though. There's no retrofitter tricks I can do here. It's already a construct. That's the biggest one. Okay, taking some beats. Still not going to block. I value my artifacts. Nimble Obstructionist. Someday. That would have been good 100 years ago. But that is not where we live right now. Okay, 3/3 Death Touch, or try for Liliana. Guess I'll try for Lily. She's the best one if it resolves, which is where we are now, just hoping that my opponent's hand with 5 cards in it doesn't have an answer. Alright, sacrifice something. They can keep their Leyline Binding, but it loses all the keywords. Now it's just a 6/6. And I think I have to put a damage on Teferi. I can't have that bouncing anything. A Teferi plus again. Now Smallpox kills Leyline Binding. That's pretty big. The Reezer. This can stand up the Beanstalk and also insulate versus Edicts. They are taking time to kill Liliana. The respect she deserves. Surgicaling Liliana, removing the one that they know is in my hand. Seeing the Nimble Obstructionist. Watch out. Okay, I drew a land. They didn't know that was going to happen. Oh, I can Edict here. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. I'll start with that. They could sack up the Beanstalk in response to this. Yep, that's fine. Up the Beanstalk is still gone. And if I Smallpox now, I lose this land that I've worked so hard for. I think I gotta work my way through this, though. I'm gonna sacrifice this land anyway, so I'll just get Basic Swamp. I lose my Servo token, no reason to attack. They have a 1/4. At least here, if they Force of Will, I don't get to draw a card because Beanstalk's gone. I'll discard Formless Genesis, the free money. They discarded Leyline. Lose my Basic Swamp. Oh, they kept Zur. Gave me Haywire Might back. Interesting thing about the templating between Leyline Binding and Smallpox is the returning the thing is not a trigger. It is exiled until this is gone, which means if I had cast that onto an empty board, they could have sacrificed Leyline Binding. Or no, that is the creature. Never mind. All right. What I was about to say is that if they sacrifice Leyline Binding in the middle of the spell resolving, Haywire Might is back before the spell is done resolving, but the sacrifice of creature was the spot. I actually lost a win-in at a Star City event once because I didn't understand that interaction. I was playing against Amulet Titan with Orzhov Pox, and I was confident they had Obstinate Baloth in their hand, and I didn't realize that if they discard Obstinate Baloth, it comes into play in the middle of Smallpox resolving before they have to sack a creature. And then I spent like 1 or 2 turns trying to dance around that, and then ended up losing by that 1 or 2 turn, where I could have just cooked them on turn 2, like eaten a Karu land, eat their Baloth. All right, I can attack Teferi here. All right, I'm just going to cast Nimble Obstructionist before I make my land drop. Okay, Beseiju as a land, Lava Spur Boots. So at least get Teferi out of here. And they still got a handful of cards, and Zur is threatening to go nuts at any time, and I'm not winning the damage race. But this game looks a lot better now than it did 4 turns ago. They've got a binding, now they can stand up this binding, and now it is not close or competitive anymore, if it was at all. Yeah, it would have had Summoning Sickness to stand it up now, so I get 1 turn to try to figure this out, I guess. All right, well, Formless Genesis. I'll make a 6/6. They have the Force of Will. That means I am just deceased. All right, GG's. Yeah, I got maybe tricked by my own thing, but I have a strong mental association with this name and this avatar being a Storm player, and maybe I invented that. Maybe I'm wrong, but also mulling as if their Storm game 1 and then their Domain Zoo is about the worst thing you could ever do. GG's, opponent. You tricked me. On to the next round. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, MagicCon, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round number 2. My hand is pretty anemic, but it's also pretty solid. If whether or not Witherbloom Command is any good in this matchup will matter a lot, but I am going to keep this. By the way, I looked at my last round opponent. This is their posted match history. The Epic Storm, Mystic Forge combo, the Epic Storm, Besiege Storm. So I was not wrong in my information. I was just wrong today. Not that it matters to winning or losing, whether I was right or wrong about that, but just for my own sanity, because it has been slipping lately. Lightline of the Void. Well, it's okay. I'm just a graveyard-centric Loam deck with a card in my hand that can never beat that. Okay, well, it's a bad time to queue into this. Pitch Dark Ritual Chrome Mox, valuing the... Okay, that's fine. I don't have a lot of 1-drops in my deck. And there's now an Urborg in play. That's cool. Oh, cool. Assassin's Trophy can get me out of here. I think I'm just going to play Bayou and pass. Because if I clear the ley line, that opens up so many more things, including Witherbloom Command on any of these other permanents. If they just shove Helm this turn, that's great for me. KGC resolves. Grab the Helm. So my plan here is trophy the ley line, but then I might get latticed. Interesting. I guess I still have to trophy the ley line. I have Beseiju though too. Alright, trophy the ley line. Basic Swamp. Unfortunately, there is an extra card in the hand. Interesting. Alright. Now I can jack up their mana really hard. Wasteland City of Traders. Witherbloom Command targeting Chalice of the Void, getting back my Wasteland. Or targeting Chrome Mox. I don't care about Chalice of the Void. Target player mills 3, destroy target thing. I'll mill 3, I'll destroy Chrome Mox. Urza Saga, more Wastelands. I would like Wasteland. Okay. Hope we turn the corner here. This Karn is still pretty scary, though. Karn making another wish. Could just pivot onto the Liquid Metal Coating here, which I can Beseiju, which replaces the land, but I'm about to waste them again anyway. Okay. Beseiju, this thing. Another Swamp. Takenuma, cool. Okay, Wasteland. I'm undoing my own removal spells, but at least I'm still alive. Karn went up. I think I should just Formless Genesis here. I do actually have to fetch. My Swamp is where? Not fetchable by Misty Rainforest, that's where. Okay. Underground Sea. Formless Jenny. I wanna take a crack at this Karn. Ooh, look at this thing. Wow, I've never seen that token before. That is a oopy goopy skeleton. Looks like it's made of wax, which I guess is something a skeleton could be made of. Alright, pitching Shoulder to Chrome Mox. The One Ring. Yeah, that card's real good. They could stand up the One Ring to block the Shapeshifter. This means they don't get to draw cards this turn, but okay. But guess what else it means? Oh, wow. I was about to slam Liliana. Smallpox might be better. Nah, it's Liliana. This is too fucking funny. Oh, wait, I can't minus. Alright, I do actually have to Smallpox. Damn it. That Liliana would have been so sick. Yeah, they have protection from the minus ability. But this doesn't kill Karn, who is still a problem. Son of a biscuit. We almost had it. We almost had it all. I can plus Liliana to get their hand empty. I discard Uro. Wouldn't even miss it. That gives them a whole turn to activate the ring and then do Karn stuff. I think that's fine. Okay, Liliana. Plus discard Uro, free money. I'm going to play out Takenuma. I'm going to try to get Hellbent here. This does not have Menace. It has Death Touch. And the ring is indestructible. What can Karn get me with here? They draw one card. Yeah, the Smallpox would have killed the ring, but it also would have killed my Shapeshifter, and then Karn runs amok. Ensnaring Bridge. I need a Loam. Loam. Sylvan Library. It's not the worst card I've ever seen. Okay, I'm not going to Smallpox. I guess my Shapeshifter probably doesn't matter much, but I am... No, it does, because I'm digging aggressively for Loam, so I could Beseiju this ring. Discarded another Karn. Oh, the Helm is gone. Can they die to their ring before they find any action? Is that, like, even a thing? Alright, Sylvan Library is worse now because they have Bowmaster. Urza Saga. I am going to pay. This is just really important. Oh my god. Well, fudge me then. This doesn't work with Karn in play, but I am going to pay 4 life for one of them, just so I'm through my deck better. Okay. Versus Saga, plus Liliana. Discard the Mox. I cannot play Uro with the mana I have, and pass. You tap the ring. Your own Saga. This is horse hockey. Plus Karn. Another Chalice on 1. That's alright. I haven't played a 1-drop yet. Trinisphere. That matters a little. Okay. Gotta ping. Thoughtseize and Obstructionist. Interesting. I mean, these cards are bad. I don't want Mox Diamond. I would have to redraw Thoughtseize. I have to redraw something anyway. Alright, there's Chalice. There's Chalice! I figured it out. I think I was supposed to pay 4 so I could plus Liliana anyway. It's fine. Haven't seen a Light from the Loam yet in this many games with Loam Pox. I'm saving the Obstructionist because that can counter a Karn activation or a Ring activation. I could counter this chapter of Ursa Saga, but I don't care about that. I want my opponent to die to their own ring, is what I need to happen here. That's my primary win con. The ring is up high enough that they could attack with a 7 power creature next turn and then dump out their hand. So there is some concern going on over there. They have enough mana to get and play Lattice, which means I have to counter the Karn ability. Okay, plussing Trinisphere. That's a 3/3. There are attacks here if they want them. Going after Liliana. My construct is only a 1/1, not super useful. I can block and kill Trinisphere. Yeah, I'm just like not worried about defending Liliana here. What's all this? A removal spell? Is it a Fell the Profane? Sure. Why didn't we do that before blocks? Chrome Mox is in. Another Chrome Mox, getting the hand low enough that I can't bash through the Ensnaring Bridge. Chalice on 0. Yep, that plays. Okay, I make a construct that's just a little 1/1. And if I want to use Library this turn, I think I do. There's going to have to be some maneuvering around. All right. Thoughtseize and Mox Diamond go back. Smallpox on top. They should target this construct with both. All right, they figured it out. All right, construct dies. I'm not going to make it bigger in response. I can't save it, and I want at least one of these to fizzle. If I don't make a construct, and I do cast Smallpox, what happens? I lose the cards in my hand. All right, I'll at least make a blocker. But then I can't obstruct nimbly or otherwise. I'm just going to float a mana and pass. All right, they're playing around Pithing Needle. Yeah, I'll just get Lava Spur Boots, I guess. It really doesn't matter. None of them work. And I'm going to pass. My plan is to Nimble Obstructionist to counter the ring activation. And that should make it harder for them to attack. At least that's what I'm hoping for. They would go to 7 cards in hand. They could attack me for 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not lethal. The problem is they just have to play a fresh 1 ring, and they're out of this. There's a Lattice in their sideboard somewhere. Construct. Tutoring out Pithing Needle. They're not going to name Nimble Obstructionist. Probably Boseiju. They named Liliana of the Veil. Okay, so this will put you to 7 cards in hand. That's not lethal. I'm dead anyway. All right. I will cycle here. I counter that shit. I draw a card. This triggers Bowmaster. Liliana. Conveniently drawn immediately after the Pithing Needle. Yeah, it's really just a game about 1 ring. There was 1 or 2 turns where if I had drawn a Loam, you know, I'm basically the entire way through my deck. Haven't seen one of those yet. The 1 ring is such a terrible Magic card. Why would... I mean, I understand why they made it that way. It is more important that if you get access to the Lord of the Rings canon, and I found a Loam. Scoreboard nerd. I mean, I'm very dead. All right, I'll concede. If you have access to the Lord of the Rings canon, and the 1 ring sucks when you make the card, that's so much worse than if it rules. They have to overshoot, but it still makes Magic the Gathering very bad. Okay, a bunch of ways to remove their lock pieces. Formless Genesis almost had a moment there. It was so close. Witherbloom Command seems pretty good. Sheoldred's Edict. Forgot that card was in my deck. They're not really using their graveyard. The Raven's Crimes and Thoughtseizes are interesting because they're good on turn 1, but then they fall off really hard. I think I'm going to shave some Mox Diamonds because my opponent is a Karn deck. Raven's Crime, I'm off. Minus the Thoughtseize. Nimble Obstructionist is dope. That almost had a hero moment. Pithing Needle has some text too. Can I beat this deck on the board, or do I need Thoughtseizes? I prefer not to care about Chalice on 1 as much as possible. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try it like this. It sucks losing the Thoughtseizes, but this is what we got. I will keep this. Disruptor Flute's pretty good in the matchup, and I like Saga Gaming. And this hand is not immediately colded by a Leyline. A Swamp, alright. I'm going to go Urza's Saga and represent Disruptor Flute rather than play out the land here. I frequently like an aggro turn 2 Smallpox that just Stone Rains my opponent, but I'd like to get a creature if I can. Oh, look at this shit. We got a Copycat. Dark Ritual. Right, I'm going to Disruptor Flute in response. Karn, the Great Creator, cannot be activated. Its passive is still relevant. Oh, my Bayou is blacked out. Why is that happening? That's weird. Right, yeah. Karn's passive still matters, but I've done in sideboarding and in keeping this hand what I can to play around that. All right, Construct in the end step. I have Wasteland to kill that Urza Saga. I'm a little concerned about Opposition Agent, but if I get Agented here, then nothing else is happening. Like, they don't get a Construct, and they can, steal some random shit from my deck. Retrofitter, Pithing Needle, Lava Spur Boots. None of these work. Haywire Might has power and toughness. I can blow up Karn in the future. I could get Pithing Needle and name the One Ring. Yeah, that sounds good. Let's not have this devolve into what happened last game again. And I'm going to attack my opponent for 4. I'm going face. I don't care about Karn. And now Wasteland on City of Traders takes out 2 lands, and they don't get a second construct, but they do get a tutor. I'm going for the city. Yeah, cheesing them out while they're stuck under mana constraints is what I want to do here. Chrome Mox, that dies to Witherbloom Command. Barrogoyf in exile, another Chrome Mox. No pitch. Alright, we're just dumping out Chrome Mox in to make the construct bigger. Fair enough. I'm still winning the race. And I can do some cool stuff with Witherbloom Command now. If I kill this Chrome Mox and pick up a land, then my opponent isn't competing with their construct anymore. Alright. Target player mills 3, destroy target thing. Do I care about... I mean, picking up Wasteland might be relevant. Picking up Saga would have been better. I should have held my land drop. I could drain them for 2 life. I don't think that's what I want to do. Alright. I mill 3, destroy this Chrome Mox. Once again, enraged at whatever coward in Wizards of the Coast decided Witherbloom Command can't be an instant. Sudden Edict. Alright, well, there's that card. I now want my Urza Saga back. And I guess I will attack my opponent. I don't want them just drawing some artifact and getting back in this game that they're way behind in. I definitely messed up that turn, though. I should have Saga in play right now. Felmire tapped. Smallpox is pretty great right now. Ooh, and I've got 2 of them. Smallpox kills half of their mana sources and takes the last card out of their hand. Okay. Smallpox. I'm going to discard Misty Rainforest, sack Underground Sea, play Urza Saga. Game on. Opponent is Hellbent with 1 mana versus active Urza Saga. Cool. Nice. Having fun locking each other out of the game. I don't think my plan changes here. I am right back in with the same cards. Pernicious Deed is pretty good. Smallpox is alright. Trophy is one of my better cards. Alright, I'll keep it. I could get Turbo Cooked here, but I'm going to hope that I can wiggle my way up into Pernicious Deed. Alright, Urza Saga. That card is pretty bad against Pernicious Deed. It's even worse against Wasteland. I think I just want a Wasteland here. Have to imagine there's an Ancient Tomb or City of Traders in the hand, and that's what the wisdom of that was. Okay, we'll just play turn 1 over again. Flute. There's the City of Traders. Wish I had an Underground Mortuary, but I do not. Ooh, Urza Saga. I like this card. Not if I'm gearing up for Pernicious Deed, though. I'm going to pass. Okay, I am going to fetch here in case they Pithing Needle my Verdant Catacombs. I do need access to green. And I'm not going to flute the Urza Saga because I'm a Saga deck too. I don't want that turned off. I'd rather hit Karn or something. Chrome Mox. Exiled. Long Goodbye. Cooked a land. Okay, so I have a 3-for-1 locked up here. But if I draw a land that's not Urza Saga, it's even better. I'm going to turn off the One Ring. Or do I want to name Orcish Bowmaster here? I'm actually going to name Orcish Bowmasters, and that's because that's the card they could cast right now that I might care about. If I draw a land that's not Urza Saga, I basically win. And I'm in great shape even if I don't. All right. Unfortunately, going to have to cook my own Saga here, but this is extremely messed up. I'm just busting it. We get what we get. A swamp. Well, there's my fucking land. Right on time. Okay. Mox Diamond. Worse if they come up with Karn. Better at casting Uro right now. Let's get Uro going. Nimble Obstructionist. The fun of one of. Bummer. Dark Ritual's a good one. There's Karn. This can kill my Mox Diamond. Or grab something. Alright, it's grabbing something. I prefer that outcome. Because I have Flute. Grabbed the Coating. Now I have some choices. I can just assassinate Karn. I think I'm doing that. I want to respond. Actually, no, I don't. Because if they plus Karn and kill my Mox Diamond, that's bad. Yeah, I'll try to play around that where I can. They're passing the turn. I can Disruptor Flute the One Ring. All right, Oppo Agent in response. That's fine. That's a creature. That can die. I'm going to name the One Ring. Consign to memory. That's almost good. I think I'm going to Smallpox, discarding Obstructionist and sacking Urborg. That's not how that works. Discard Obstructionist, sack Urborg. Urborg is the land I have that doesn't cast Uro, which is where I'm trying to go right now. Discarded a One Ring. And I'm going to fetch Underground Sea now before another Oppo can show up. Liquid Metal Coating. All right. That doesn't matter on its own. Hello, hello. Well, let's hope Liliana can squeeze harder than Consigned to Memory would have. They discarded Bowmasters. Sniper with that Disruptor Flute. Dark Ritual Karn is the line I'm worried about now, or Soul Land Karn, I guess is really bad too. I gotta get this Uro in play before they have a Karn, is what I'm articulating here. Okay, no play, passing. A Flute. Alright, I'll just name Karn with this. Karn, the Great Creator. Tootin' my flute all day long. Discarded a card. Alright, cool. Swamp. So back up to 3 mana. Chrome Mox can play some 4-drop here. Or they could just get cards out of their hand before Liliana takes them all. What do we have? A Leyline? Shieldred. Alright, well, that just dies, but you were going to lose it anyway. Fair enough. Haywire Might. Sack that shit. Haywire Might. I'm just going to cook this Chrome Mox. It seems like 4 mana is an important number for a bunch of stuff their deck does. Just need a source of green or blue mana, and we can start winning. Wasteland is neither of those. Another Bowmaster stuck under the flute. I don't know what win conditions are left in their deck. Chalice on 1. You got it. A black source. Well, this can spin Obstructionist back up into my hand, but I'm just discarding whatever it is to Liliana. I could get... Nope. Chalice. I was going to say I could get and play Haywire Might. That's not even true. I guess this is just a land drop then, and we plus Lily. Alright, just running out every mono black source that I play. It's probably... Oh, Long Goodbye. Sure. That is better for me than Oppo would be. Maybe they're about the same. Or back-to-back. Alright. Well, Uro. Okay. I can at least play Uro. I am now behind. Alright, is there anything that is unique to my graveyard? My opponent has land, enchantment, artifact, instant planeswalker, creature. That's 6. And that's 7-8. So there is something that's unique to my graveyard. What is it? Sorcery. Alright, sorcery. I can't recur Pernicious Deed anyway. I'll get the weird card types out of my graveyard. The things I can't recur. And Haywire Might doesn't matter. Alright, graveyard full of lands. Trigger. Forest might as well come into play. All right, we have a game back on. It just took me missing on a green source for 7,000 turns. I think I would rather race here. In them flipping 6 cards, they whiffed. Perfect. Oh, come on. You did not draw long goodbye. All right, it's another Chalice on one. I can live with that. All right, here we go. Forest. I guess I want to fetch first. That's just one fewer land I could draw. Get a trop for the road. Attack. Witherbloom command. Are you helpful? I fucked up again. Okay. This can get Urza Saga back. And do I want to drain them for 2 life? Or destroy liquid metal coating? All right, target player mills 3. Destroy target thing. Okay. You're going to mill 3. And I'm going to destroy liquid metal coating. I'm going to get back Urza Saga. And because I played my land before attacking, I can't actually play this right now. But I do have a plan. I'm way behind on clock, though. I could also waste my own Takenuma, buy back Liliana. Ooh, okay, hold on. Wish I thought of that a moment ago. Opposition Agent Bowmaster is milled over. They can't play the Bowmaster, so they're going to take Oppo. And there it is in play. Draw another Saga. All right, I've made 2 big mistakes this game, and both of them mattered. But if they attack with both, I'll block Oppo. I am just going to block here. I can replay Uro. I have the material. Another Uro. Cool. Okay. Blue, green, black, green, blue would leave blue, green, green. All right, we're good. This Uro. Come on now, Magic Online. I'm running out of time. I can't fiddle with your bullshit. I have the mana. Let me cast it. Trigger. Saga's in. Loam is here now. Green, blue, green. I think I'm going to time out, even though I am getting control of this game back. Okay, pass the turn. 3 minutes. I think I can figure this out. I got a lot of constructs going now. It's still attacking. Make a construct. Double block. Do I double block? No, go ahead, hit me. I'm off it. Second Barrogoyf would be annoying. But there's a lot of stuff I don't care about. Yeah, they're not even milling. Great. Okay, 3 minutes to deal 40 damage. Okay, 1. Make that. They get to search for my Oppo. So I should make this first. Or they get to search with Oppo for my thing. Retrofitter Foundry is pretty annoying here, but I can blow it up. I also tapped the Wasteland, which would have been getting Takenuma back. Yeah, I'm playing fast and messy now. They did... I drew Underground Sea. Attack with my creatures. Wasteland goes in. That's lucky. They take some damage. Wasteland target Takenuma. Witherbloom command. Drain you for 2, mill you for 2. Black, green. I'll get Takenuma back. And then this costs 3. I have 4. I'll pass. I think this is doable. Oh, no attack. Draw for turn. Saga. Make another construct. You get to do some searching. I can kill all their creatures at this point, and I only have to do 25, which I actually have already. All right, Takenuma, 1, 2, 3. Get back Liliana. Play Liliana. Or no, that's not even the right one. I'm going to trophy. Black. Kill Barrogoyf. Light from the Loam. Target some stuff. This Loam is actually not going to be worth the time it takes to dredge past it. Just going to attack. Oh, I build over another one. Oh, wait, hold on. There we go. Black, green. I drew a Assassin's Trophy off of Uro. And we're out of here. We did it, team. Wowie zowie. Sloppy Magic with some mistakes made, some sequencing stuff. Also just like remembering what my overlapping engines are. We got an easy top decks from the opponent. Yeah, Matthias Hardstyle, known for being an online rager idiot, and just couldn't accept that we just played a cool game. Whatever, homie. I win. On to the next round. The 9th installment of the NYSE Vintage Open Series is coming. This 15 proxy vintage tournament with Power 9 prizes takes place on Saturday, June 14th, 2025 in Long Island, New York, and has a $500 entry fee. That's a hefty entry, but the guaranteed prizes for top 8 are Unlimited Black Lotus, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. The NYSE Open 8 went well for me last year. Someone better come stop me from getting another Lotus. Will it be you? I'll be at the NYSE Open 9 on June 14th, and I hope to see you there. Register on melee.gg or use the link in the video description. I'm on the play in round 3. I've got a Thoughtseize into Urza Saga situation. I'm in. I don't think I can afford to play around Wasteland by getting Swamp. My hand is going to be soft to Wasteland anyway. My plan is Urza Saga, and I need green cards to function. Okay. A Ponder strategy of some kind. 1,000 Ponders in hand, and Force of Will Prismatic Ending. I think I want the ending. My plan is to dump out creatures, so let's try to do that. Tundra, the first of many Ponders. That was a pretty bad Thoughtseize, actually. We just don't know what that hand was. There was no way to take anything meaningful from it, and the information is going to be totally different by the time anything matters or happens. Ooh, drawing a second colored source here is nice. That lets me try to Wasteland, get a little cheese going here. Then I have Witherbloom Command that can pick up the Wasteland if they're not careful. And I have Smallpox that can kill a basic land if they are careful. Ponder shuffled the library. Okie dokie. Mox Diamond. I like this card. Does this change what I'm doing? Not really. And I could play Mox Witherbloom Command, get back or whatever land I discard to the Mox, and then play that land. I don't think that's actually good, though. I'm just going to play out Urza Saga and pass. Begin the Saga gaming. There just wasn't anything to do with a trophy or a command. Of course, now there is. Got Cauldra. Oh, Liliana. I like that, but they are going to force it. How do I work my way around this? I'm going to fetch, and I guess I want Underground Sea. Yeah, that Force of Will is really good. I'm going to have to work my way through this. So if I play the card that costs 3 this turn, I might be able to play 2 cards that cost 2 next turn. All right, Force of Will pitching Brainstorm. There's still a Ponder over there. Yeah, if I had done the Mox Diamond play, no, but then I would have still just had Urza Saga out, so that doesn't matter. Now that I know they're a Stoneforge deck, I will adjust how I'm playing. I'm at 11 already. Urborg is not that useful. Okay, I don't want a Construct. That's not where this game's going. I already have a Mox Diamond. Retrofitter Foundry could buy me some time, I guess. Retrofitter. All of my abilities I want to use right now are just full double pip beats. Okay, I'm going to Assassin's Trophy the Stoneforge, because I can't Assassin's Trophy Cauldra or the Germ, but I can Smallpox it. And I will make a servo with my floating mana. That's what I got. My plan is to cast Smallpox anyway, so I will sack this to absorb the 1 damage it prevents. Okay. Big turn to not eat shit here. If I Witherbloom Command, would they worry about Urza Saga? I don't know. I would like Urza Saga in play. Okay. Witherbloom Command. Target player mills 3 and drain. Okay, I'll mill 3. I'll drain you. Green, black. And because of Urborg, this works if I want Urza Saga in play. Hell yeah. I mean, I guess I could have just paid. But that is a counterspell out of their hand. Something like Snapcaster to absorb the Edict would be really good. Bowmaster, I hate that guy. All right, we're literally dead. That is 6 damage. All right, GG's. Off of my Urborg. It wasn't even on my radar. Awesome. Okay. We're against a Stoneforge Mystic strategy. Disruptor Flute. I like. Haywire Might can exile Cauldra. Pithing Needle can name Stoneforge. They don't seem to be using their graveyard. This could be a Murktide deck, but I'm not going to respect that. Nimble Obstructionist is really good versus Stoneforge and Cauldra. Smallpox Edict. Yeah, this is another like generic creature deck that we're pretty good against. I'm going to shave 1 Wasteland and 1 Mox Diamond just because the game's going to slow down and we saw at least 3 basics that they play. But they are Esper. All right, I'm still shaving a Wasteland. You can't talk me out of it. Witherbloom Command isn't that good when its modes don't both hit something. We did see Bowmaster, but that's the only thing we saw that it kills. Yeah, I think I'm off Witherbloom and bringing in these things. The Witherbloom command is a great answer to Bowmaster, which is a great answer to a deck full of Edicts. I don't like Pernicious Deed versus decks that don't rely on zeros. Okay, let's go. I will keep this. This is an early Smallpox and or the option of Liliana. Liliana has a nice discard, the Formless Genesis. Genesis has already done more this league than Worm Harvest ever has in any deck I've played. I'm in for that one. I've been convinced. Ironically, I probably win that game if I take the Force off that first Thoughtseize, but at the time, the information was different. Thoughtseize, okay. Well, probably losing Liliana here, unless they're really worried about Smallpox. I'm going to drag them around, make it harder for them to click on the right card. This doesn't actually do anything, but while I'm bored and waiting for my opponent to figure out what they want, I'm going to entertain myself. They caught the Smallpox despite my efforts to wiggle cards around. Nurturing Peatland. I'm playing out these fetch lands because my opponent showed me a lot of basics to the point that they might have something like Harbinger or Back to Basics. I don't want to have to play around that, but I will acknowledge that it could happen. All right, they have 2 non-basics in play now. I'm not going to respect this anymore. But it's also not time to fetch. Ooh, Wasteland. Blow up your black source. Bowmaster is the card that is the most powerful against my hand. They floated a blue. All right. I'll just pass then. And they're right back in business. Thoughtseize, boo! Goodbye, Liliana. I hardly knew you. But I can start spamming powerful Formless Genesis now. Is this Tamiyo something I want to address? I don't think so. And now I am going to fetch. Bayou and Underground Sea. Another fetch land off the top. This gives away information, but it does make my Genesis bigger. I guess I'll get Trop to round out my colors, even though Trop is not very good among the lands that cast spells in my deck. Let's see if a parade of ever-growing changeling goopy skeletons can beat this opponent. Tamiyo making its clue. As it does. Cracking the clue. Oh, Urza Saga. We like that. I'm going to attack first. The Shapeshifter's power and toughness is locked in when it's made. I don't get to grow it. It's not like a construct, where if I had put more lands in my graveyard before combat, it would be any bigger. This one's a 5/5 and Urza Saga to back it up. Tamiyo going in. Multiple engines running for me. Crack the clue. Ponder. This flips Tamiyo, but she does die to 5 damage if they don't also have an answer. 5/5 is so big. When Tamiyo flips early, especially in Legacy where the creatures are small and efficient, it just feels like you can never kill her, but a 5/5 does it. Unless, of course, they kill my 5/5, which their deck's pretty good at doing. Boo. Alright, Prismatic Ending works. Ooh, Mox Diamond. I am going to play out Mox Diamond rather than play Boseiju. My plan here is to roast Tamiyo before she rebuys that Plow or Prismatic Ending, and then try to get constructs through the breach. Of course, a Light from the Loam, a card that I've only seen once in 3 matches now, would be great. Wrath of the Skies. Fuck me. Nothing I can do about that. Remember when I Pernicious Deeded my salty idiot opponent last round and ended the game on turn 3? That's what just happened to me. But I won't be salty about it. Okay, Light from the Loam, and we're immediately back. Even a land making a Formless Genesis, that thing's pretty big right now. Cryptic Coat. All right. Opponent's starting to push a little bit. Lava Spur Boots on the tiny list of cards that are not good here. Here come the beats, and then they can pick up and redeploy Coat if they want. Yeah, here come the damage. The damage is Light from the Loam. We did it. Never seen it before, but here it is. Okay, Light from the Loam. If this works, we're in good shape. Even like a Tempo Spell Pierce or Tempo Force of Will would be really good, though. But Saga comes in. Boseiju can clip the Cryptic Coat right now while they don't have 2 mana up. And then I have to beat a pair of 2/2s moving forward. Right, that thing's dead. Give them 1 million mana to play with, but they already had a million. 1,000,000.1 mana. Milled over a Bowmaster. Not interested. Probably the right call. Bowmaster does not beat what I'm doing. Oh, they turned a Tamiyo face up. That was so slick. Engine back online. Brainstorm flips Tamiyo. They have so many cards. Blue decks are so good. Tamiyo plus Ponder. I can put enough damage to kill Tamio on the board, but if they have a blocker or a plow or a Stoneforge Mystic, it gets a lot worse. Okay, there's Cauldra. Do I want to Dredge Loam? No. I can't afford to. All right, Saga ticks up. I'm going to cast Formless Genesis. I'll play the Wasteland because they know about it. Genesis. I'm nicknaming this goopy skeleton Phil Collins. Phil Collins, the goopy skeleton. He has an 80s jacket on. It works even better than I thought. Okay, I have a big hasty dumbass here. Attack Tamio. Bowmaster can chump this thing all day. They could just let Tamio die, ranch me with Cauldra. Snapcaster. I mean, luckily the plow doesn't work, but they can still brainstorm. Yeah, this Tamio gets back plow or prismatic ending now. Alright, I can no longer win this game. We fought the good fight for a while. Not enough Loams. So, an actual thing here. There are only 3 Light from the Loams in this deck, and every single game that we've played, I just wished I had one. I think this is a card you have to play 4 of. If you don't have Entombs or some extra way to dig for the 3 that you do have, I think you actually need to play 4 Loams and Loam Pox. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
I'm on the play for round number 4. My hand, Thoughtseizes a bunch. I'll take it. Thoughtseize Liliana. That's a game plan. This used to define the modern format. Do you believe it? I think I'm going to lead on Takenuma and keep my options open for the fetch land. Alright, we're playing against Nadu. I think I want to take Delighted Halfling this turn, because I have Wasteland plus Thoughtseize available. This Force of Will, I plan to take that with the next Thoughtseize. There's Tundra, not playing around Wasteland, I love that. And I'm going to Wasteland first. That way they probably brainstorm when they don't know Thoughtseize is coming, because if you brainstorm in response to the Thoughtseize, they can hide the good stuff. But if they brainstorm just because they don't have another play, then Thoughtseize could get them. I love how Takenuma displays 0 legendary creatures controlled by me while it's in play. That ability doesn't even work on the battlefield. Thanks for the rub-ins, just telling me I don't have any legendary creatures. Okay, I drew another land. Wastia. Brainstorm. There's 1 of 2 gone. They might hide their best card on top, but they're... like, the good Brainstorm stack here is your best card on top and your second card. Okay, so this is just all of the same cards. I don't really like the Force of Wills, but at least they're 2-for-1s. I'm going to take a Brainstorm now that I can't take them off Force, which was my plan. Oh, there's 2 of these. Tundra in play, and a Nomad. All right. Another Thoughtseize. Man, Magic's easy. Thoughtseize you. I'll take the other Brainstorm. Their hand is literally 2 Force of Wills now. Wish I had an Underground Mortuary in my deck. This is definitely Cephalid Breakfast, Nadu Breakfast. I do not want to draw a land. Okay, now I'm in an interesting spot. I guess I just get the cards out of their hand while I can. Underground Sea, Liliana. They obviously have to counter this. Treat it like Hymn to Turok. That hits 2 Force of Wills. Force pitching Force. And now I just have to draw one of my hundreds of Edicts, or a Liliana, or a Witherbloom Command, before they hit me for 10 with a pair of Nomads end course, which is actually not that far off. The Seiju doesn't look helpful. They just get a Meticulous Archive, and it probably helps their cause overall. I'll play out this Verdant Catacombs. I am on a 5-turn clock here. This is not free. That second Nomad, actually a ton of pressure. And if their 1 card in hand is Illusionist, I'm dead to any land. Most cards in my deck are good, but there are... basically all my spells are good, and all my lands are bad. Even Urza Saga is good, though. Takenuma is unfortunately in play. That is something I could have played around. If I just never played Takenuma and led on the fetch land, I've drawn enough mana to cast my spells since then. So Takenumaing back the Liliana. Okay, if I lose this game, it's completely my fault. Which is the best way to play Magic. Okay. Not respecting Orcish Bowmaster. Not that they need to. I'm going to fetch in my upkeep. This could change the clock if I could kill one but not both of these things, but I really don't want to draw lands. Uro wins this game, like dominates immediately. The Formless Genesis completely stabilizes and then starts winning. Okay. I have Mox Diamond, so I'm just going to get Bayou here. If I need the second blue, I have access to it. Life from the Loam. Oh, that wastes their land. That takes the Cephalid Breakfast issue off the table. And now I can start dredging every turn. And that's way better flips. So the Formless Genesis, Uro, Urza Saga, I get 3 looks at all those. I even have the Waste My Own Takenuma, Pick It Back Up line available. And I think I have time to execute it. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay, Life from the Loam, dredge it. Hit Uro immediately. Let's go. Okay, I will Uro first. Green, green, blue, blue. Exile all these spells I don't need from my graveyard. Alright, that's just resolved. No problems. Visaju's in. Now I can get extra value. My life total is no longer under threat. Life from the Loam, get back all of these cards. Okay. I think we turn the corner. Even if my opponent draws a land and plows my Uro here, I think I'm okay. This Ponder, I mean, Cephalid Illusionist combo could still get me. They shuffled the library, though. Smallpox would be great. I am not going to dredge Loam here. We love Liliana. Okay, attack with Uro. Do not dredge Loam. Put in Wasteland. I have Formless Genesis available now. Opponent has 3 cards in their hand. Liliana. Now I don't even need to do the Wasteland shit. Plus Lily. Who's Verdant Catacombs. I'm gonna fetch Polluted Delta to make my Formless Genesis bigger. Okay, I have a 2/2. If I get comboed out right now, I can still lose. There are 3 card sequences. Just Land Illusionist is enough here. Oh, wow. What a tight one. Fun. Okay, Nadu Breakfast, Pernicious Deed, Disruptor Flutes. I think that's what I want. The Surgicals could help me versus their fastest not draw situations. Pithing Needle I want. Just turn off those Nomads. Obstructionist, the fun of, still looking great. I love all this removal. They're also an Urza Saga deck. Do I have 5 cuts? I could shave on Mox Diamonds again, just try to play fair. The mana acceleration is really important in traditional Golgari Loam Pox or Mono Black Pox, but with the Uros going, it just feels like we have a plan that can actually keep up even if we don't nut cheese. And nobody likes nut cheese. I'm going to cut Retrofitter Foundry, even though that is a cool grindy card that having access to might matter. Witherbloom Command's great. Assassin's Trophy is great. I might not need my basic Forest here. What are they going to do to my mana? Though Swamp, I think, is worse than Forest because of Uro. But Swamp casts all my spells. Now Forest is worse, even if I have to wait a little bit for Uro. On the draw, what if I just don't do this instead? What if I bring in Pernicious Deed and Pithing Needle, and I don't mess with the flutes? No, the flutes are good enough. My thought was, I'm on the draw against Mana Dorks. How do I keep up with those? And I'm going to go minus Lava Spur Boots, too. A turn off the clock might matter, but surviving their combo is more important. The best case scenario is I just have one of the 2 Mox Diamonds I left in my opening hand, which is where you want it, then you don't want to draw any other ones. Okay, no early interaction. A Pernicious Deed I can't cast. This is not how we do this. Mulligan. Pithing Needle. That plays. I will keep this. I think with Uro in hand I don't need Formless Genesis, and that's how I'm going to do this. Windswept Teeth. That is not a Nomad Encore. Urza Saga. Alright, that's good next turn. I'm just going to deploy my Pithing Needle now. Name Nomad. If it hangs it out there for Prismatic Ending, that's fine, but at least as long as this is around, I have a shield up. I have other stuff in my deck that Prismatic Ending's good against. Got him! Got the Sniper Scope on this Pithing Needle. Okay, pass the turn. I guess with Beseiju in the mix, maybe there's reason to fetch Bayou on turn 1, just in case they were on a Shuko line. But they appear to be on a 1-lander where Ponder missed the land drop. And now I'm Saga gaming their face off. I'm going to fetch Bayou now and pass. Brainstorm. The game continues. I think if they didn't draw a spell they could cast there, they would have just conceded. I would. A Nomad can no longer attack because I have a 2-2. And here I am with my boarded out Lava Spur boots, which is exactly what I would tutor here. Nile Spellbomb just in case. Replacement Saga. Bang. Okay, they're Brainstorm locked, so they know what they're drawing. Okay, Ponder to shuffle up that Brainstorm. I appreciate my opponent's grit here. So they have to completely stabilize the board full of 5/5s, and then remove Pithing Needle, and then win the game somehow through Nile Spellbomb. There's a lot in front of them right now. Kudos to them for toughing it out. Attack. I'll push the extra damage. I believe that is more important than leaving up Assassin's Trophy right now. Okay. Opponent is now dead to everything. Has to clear Pithing Needle, resolve Nadu, flip into some game-winning thing. I guess if they had a Wrath of the Skies in their deck. If they have Wrath of the Skies in their hand and they just need an untapped white source, I could see how this game could flip against me. All right, cool. Evened it up, 2-2. On to the final round. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the draw versus Ella1, who is a Cradle Control main. My hand is one land away from being completely buck nasty, but if I fumble it, I lose very quickly. I'm actually going to mulligan this. All right, cool. Rewarded with basically the same hand, except it works. Keeping and bottoming, probably. All right, so what does this actually look like? I draw a random card, then Mox Diamond discards something. I play a land. I Smallpox. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 cards already in my hand. Then I lose another one to Pox. I think I'm going to bottom Assassin's Trophy and rely on the denial. I don't want to refresh this deck's mana. I want Smallpox to bridge me into Liliana, and then we'll game on from there. This is a deck where you can get insane Smallpoxes as early as turn 1, because there's so many mana dorks in the deck. Also, the way Smallpox is worded, oh no, did I get juked? Is Marsh Flats in Cradle Control now? Or are we doing something else today? A Swamp. Thoughtseize. Alright, this still might be Cradle Control, but disappointing. The way Smallpox is worded, though, you sacrifice the creature before you sack the land, which means Dryad Arbor doesn't satisfy both clauses. It's not like you could pretend you don't have a creature and then sack Arbor as a land. Yeah, this is what I'm doing today. What do you think? Took the Pox. The correct amount of respect for that one. Okay, Catacomb, and I am going to play out the Diamond, discarding Takenuma. Just in case there's another discard spell, I actually want my mana under me. Okay, it's definitely not Cradle Control. FOMO. All right, this loots something away. Another FOMO. All right, I'm going to fetch in the end step for Bayou Urborg. I'm not going to help you with that. Okay, so my opponent knew about Liliana and still played this creature out. Must have a follow-up creature or just some burn spell that finishes off Lily. There's still a creature deck, whatever else is going on here. Dragon's Rage Channeler. Lotus Petal. Down to Fury. Okay, is this Rakdos Scam, the banned modern deck? Reanimate target Fury, that's pretty good. That kills Liliana and puts a fuckload of power into play. All right. We've been scammed. Yeah, there's no winning this game. I'm out. I'm out. I've had enough. Okay, Rakdos Scam is the deck. I actually do think I want my ley lines here. Surgical is live. Pernicious Deed's a maybe. I don't know if I'll have 7 cards to cut. The first example of Obstructionist not being good in the history of Magic the Gathering. I'm going to board it out. Isle Spellbomb's fine. Retrofitter seems fine. Witherbloom Command. I don't imagine this deck has Bowmaster in it. A non-delirious DRC dies to this. Uro seems insane. I'm going to shave a Wasteland, a Mox, Raven's Crime. I don't want them in charge of what they discard. It's Thoughtseize or nothing. I'm going to go down to Thoughtseize too. I think playing to the board is what I'm supposed to do here. And maybe with 4 ley lines and another Surgical and Isle Spellbomb, I don't need the full Graveyard Hate package. All right, I'll stop there. This is my play. Oh, no. No. I hit submit. Ah, fuck. I'm playing a 65 card deck. Well, I didn't want to do that. All right, I'm keeping my hand. All right, I'm going to Thoughtseize. Do I want to give them Urborg, though? I'm going to Mox Diamond discarding Urborg. How about that? Thoughtseize you. 2 Goyfs, Wear Tear, FOMO, DRC. So they're going to have a 1-drop no matter what. I guess I want to take Wear Tear because I have foolishly put this Mox Diamond into the game. Formless Genesis, the first one makes a 2-2, and the Death Touch matters here. Channeler, we're going to Bobble, Dump to Fury. We've seen this line before. Drawing for turn, bobbling me, getting Delirium, gaze upon this card, and then I'll fetch. Get Bayou, Smallpox. That's better than what I was going to do. Yeah, we saw the opponent keep a 1-lander. I'm going to Pox and discard Formless Genesis and sack Forest. In land Reanimate is still really good, but any land out of my deck gets Liliana going. Discarded the FOMO and passed. Land Lily? Not just a land, but the best one. All right, put those cards in the graveyard. Got you in the squeeze now. Another FOMO gone. Urza Saga working its way up to Nile Spellbomb. Yeah, okay. 2 very quick, cheesy games. On the draw now. Opponent did not see any graveyard hate. Pernicious Deed. Now I've seen Nethergoyfs as well as the other stuff that was going on. I think I do want Deed. I don't think I want Boots. I don't think I'm going to be... Oh, right. I have to cut the cards I actually meant to cut. I forgot about that. That still has to happen. That was the 65 card special. Obstructionist, Mox, Wasteland, one of the Thoughtseizes. Okay. No one will ever know. All right, no black sources, but I do have Leyline and Retrofitter. Let's see how good this card is. Bloodstained Mire, Lotus Petal, and pass. Let's go. Another Smallpox. Not really what I wanted, but I will invest this Retrofitter. We've seen Wear Tear. I mean, they could blow up the Leyline. That means they have to fetch a white source, though, and in their red-black deck, that means they either won't have red or won't have black. Or Lotus Petal covers it. Never mind. Nothing means anything. It's all made up, and I don't know what I'm saying. Raucous Theater. A target for Wasteland. Dump to Thoughtseize. Nethergoyf. Permanent 0/1. Oh, that's interesting. That means I'm not going to Wasteland them. I am going to play out Wasteland and use Retrofitter Foundry to get my Uro running. Drawing a blue source here is really sweet. Okay, they have enough lands to kick Wear Tear. My Servo beats Nethergoyf in combat. They could play out like a Bowmaster and just pick that thing off. But I fear not the Bowmaster. Uro. Trigger. Ooh, the trigger resolved, which means I can now make a Thopter if I need to. Attack with Servo. That'll be a 4/4 before you know it. Before 4 you know it. And this game has somehow gone on long enough that the Smallpoxes in my hand have been unlocked. Fetch. I've got something to do here. Is it a 1/2 Barrogoyf? Wasteland. Alright. Wasteland's pretty good. They could just cast Fury. Alright, yeah, that is what's happening. It doesn't get to kill anything. Because I can flip. Alright, sack a Servo, make a Thopter. Whoop. And the construct is big enough to beat Fury in combat next turn. Not even worried about it. Formless Genesis. Okay. I'm going to Wasteland their Wasteland because I don't actually want to lose a blue source here. And then fetch first. Once again, wishing I had access to Underground Mortuary. Undercity Mortuary. Where is the Mortuary? Formless Genesis. This is a 2/2 Death Touch. Okay. Attack for 1. Gotta win somehow. 1/1 Channeler. Well, they must have a trick here. Just like a Lightning Bolt, a Fatal Push, a Bowmaster. They all work. Or they just think they can't beat a 4/4 and want to trade where they can. Moment of Truth. The first strike damage has been dealt. And Lightning Bolt. Sure. No surprises there. And another Lightning Bolt. My Shapeshifter. Phil Collins, no! Fetch land gives me 4 cards that aren't Uro in the graveyard. Or I could just Genesis up a 4/4. I could Smallpox and then Genesis, or a 3/3. I could Smallpox then Genesis up a 3/3. I would have to sack basic Forest to do that. This would just kill Nethergoyf, I guess. Oh, it's a 4/4 after Smallpox. Right. That's how sequencing works. Oh no, I played the land. I needed 5 mana to do this play anyway. So, I'm a mess team. Alright, I am going to Smallpox here. That will set up Uro for next turn. Alright, discard the backup Smallpox. My opponent has no cards in their hand. That's fine. I'll make a Servo here. And plenty of cards for Uro to go nuts next turn. Thoughtseize. Alright, you can have my last Smallpox. I was probably not going to cast that. I kept a card on top with their Surveil. Must be an answer to Uro. I think I'm going to take 6 here. I've got life to spare, and the Servo could be a Thopter in the near future. I already have green, and blue, so any land gets me done here. I'll get the Bayou. Sheoldred's Edict. I like that one. Blue, green. I gotta exile a couple lands here, unfortunately, to keep Formless Genesis. Oh, did I count Kindred earlier? I think I was doing a Barrogoyf count for an opponent. Was Formless Genesis in my graveyard at the time? I hope not. How embarrassing would it be if your opponent's Tarmogoyf is bigger because of your Kindred spell? Is that how Eldrazi players live their lives? Embarrassing stuff. Okay, trigger. Don't love the ley line. It is an easy discard for things that care about that in the future, though. Alright, Servo. I'll trade this for Dragon's Rage Channeler. I got an Edict in my hand. Yeah, didn't think so. I'm not going to block with it. It's fine. FOMO, this draws a card. Discard, then draw. It's not an if you do. It's discard, then draw. It's not optional, and it's not if you do. And they've had enough. Positive record with Sultai Loam Pox. Had some cool grindy games against some pretty off-meta decks. Specific feedback about this list. The Nimble Obstructionist was cool, but I don't think it's worth the slot, unfortunately. It is a one-of that we have no way to tutor for, and until I added the Takenuma, no way to really use in any sort of interesting synergistic way. It was just kind of a card that there was. But that said, I did have it in my hand a lot, and it was fine most of the time. But if it comes at the expense of the 4th Life from the Loam, a card that the whole deck is built around, and I spent most of the league wishing I had access to, and I frequently didn't, I don't think you can start playing cute cards like Obstructionist until you max out on your core engine. Formless Genesis impressed me well enough. I mean, I'm not like, oh my god. But maybe I would be like, oh my god, if Uro wasn't also in the deck. The blue mana for Uro makes Formless Genesis feel a little wonky. In green-black, just regular Golgari Pox, I think Formless Genesis is something that I'm very interested in trying. But it's just kind of like a smaller, worse Uro in a lot of situations. They're pretty comparable if you dredge past it with Loam or mill past it with Witherbloom Command. The first Formless Genesis is different than the backside of Uro. Like, the retrace on Genesis is so close to the escape on Uro that I would just say Uro is better, full stop. But Formless Genesis being able to make like a 1/1 or 2/2 Death Touch at 3 mana if you need to stabilize the board versus Uro gaining 3 life and drawing a card. I'd rather be Uro against a control deck and probably a combo deck. I'd rather be Formless Genesis versus any sort of aggro or stompy deck. So there is a little push-pull there. I think 2/1 is the right split if you're going to play both, but I don't think you need Genesis if you have Uro. The Mortuary, the Surveil Land should just be one of the bayous. That's a very easy change to make, just an oversight in deck building on both Chris and myself. Having one Surveil Land in your Legacy deck at this point is so ingrained that I don't even necessarily think to consciously look for it, but that's a way to improve this. And other than that, I liked what was going on. Disruptor Flute, a Rockstar, play that in high numbers. I've been playing Meddling Mage in any deck that it can cast it, and Disruptor Flute in every deck that can't cast Meddling Mage for the past couple weeks, and I'm pretty happy with that result. This was sweet. I always love Loam Pox. Chris, thank you for sharing it with us. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon to support the channel, and I'll see you next time.